Good day, everyone. I am Diana Fem Altas and I will be presenting to you the topic on review of related literature and studies and synthesis. Related literature is composed of discussions of facts and principles to which the present study is related. The materials are usually printed and found in books, encyclopedias, professional journals, magazines, newspapers, and other publications. Related studies is about reviewing and studying existing works carried out to which the proposed study has some familiarity and similarity. The materials are usually unpublished and can be lifted from research, theses, and dissertations. Research synthesis is a conjunction of a particular set of literature review characteristics. Steps in making a review of related literature and studies. Step 1. Review APA guidelines. Read through the links on APA guidelines so that you become familiar with the common core elements of how to write in APA style. In particular, pay attention to general document guidelines like font, margins, spacing, title page, abstract, body, text citations, and quotations. Step 2. Decide on a topic. A research topic can emerge from a wide variety of sources, including the researcher's interest, knowledge of social conditions, observations, and the like. They should begin with a broad idea and be prepared to narrow it down as they progress through the research. Step 3. Identify the literature that you will review. Familiarize yourself with online databases, identifying relevant databases in your field of study. Using relevant database, search for literature sources like Google Scholar. Some tips for identifying suitable literature and narrowing your research include starting with a general descriptor from the database or the one that you know is already a well-defined descriptor based on past work that you have done in this field. And second, redefine your topic if needed. Step 4. Analyze the literature. Once you have identified and located the articles for your review, you need to analyze them and organize them before you begin writing. Overview the articles. Skim the articles to get an idea of the general purpose and content of the articles. Group the articles into categories and take notes on the select useful quotes that you may want to include in your review. Step 5 to 7 will be discussed as part of the synthesis. A research synthesis can be defined as the conjunction of a particular set of literature review characteristics. Most definitional about research synthesis are their primary focus and goal. Research synthesis attempt to integrate empirical research for the purpose of creating generalizations. Implicit in this definition is the notion that seeking generalizations also involves seeking the limitations. Also, research synthesis almost always pay attention to relevant theories, critically analyze the research they cover, try to resolve conflicts in the literature, and attempt to identify central issues for future research. In layman's term, synthesis means to combine a number of different pieces into a whole. Synthesis is about concisely summarizing and linking different sources in order to review the literature on a topic, make recommendations, and connect your practice to the research. Synthesis usually goes together with analysis because you break down a concept or idea into its important parts or points, which is called analysis, so you can draw useful conclusions or make decisions about the topic or problem, which is the synthesis. A synthesis should not only show what the research tells us, a synthesis should also identify what the research does not tell us. In other words, what are the holes, gaps, or unknowns in the research on this topic? We will discuss the process of synthesizing multiple sources. These steps are planning or pre-writing, writing a synthesis paper, recognizing synthesis, and revising a synthesis paper. Planning a synthesis needs the following steps. First, as you read your materials, take note of repetitive ideas and make notes of conflicts or contradictions in the information provided. Second, based on the repetitions and contradictions you noticed, write down the main research question that the source material answers. A good research question should be open-ended. Third, make a list of the key ways the research answers the question. Make sure your answers account for both the contradictions and repetitions you discovered. Turn these answers into categories. Fourth, create a grid using authors' names and the categories as organizing features. Fill in the grid with details from source material. A common strategy for planning a synthesis paper is to create a grid of common points. A grid of common points is a heuristic that allows a writer to group source material into specific categories. These categories can help the writer organize the paper. To create an effective synthesis grid, establish the following. First, establish your question, focus, purpose, or topic of interest. List the authors, year of publication, discipline, and medium of information. List the methodologies, paradigm, or frameworks used. List all the findings relevant to the study. Fifth, list the limitations or contradictions inferential to the study. And sixth, establish the areas for future research or the gaps of the study. Once you have completed a grid of common points, you can begin writing your paper. When you begin to write the body of the paper, select one common point and divide it into subtopics that represent paragraph-sized chunks. For each chunk, create a topic sentence that both synthesizes the literature to be discussed and describes the literature to be discussed. Support the topic sentences you created with quotes and paraphrases from source material. As you incorporate the source material, make sure to use clear transitions that relate the sources to each other and to your topic sentences. The synthesis matrix is a chart that allows a researcher to sort and categorize the different arguments presented on an issue. Because a literature review is not a summary of these different sources, it can be very difficult to keep your research organized. It is especially difficult to organize the information in a way that makes the writing process simpler. One way that seems particularly helpful in organizing literature reviews is the synthesis matrix. Across the top of the chart are the spaces to record sources, and along the side of the chart are the spaces to record the main points of an argument on the topic at hand. As you examine your first source, you will work vertically in a column belonging to that source, recording as much information as possible about each significant idea presented in the work. Follow similar pattern for your following sources. As you find information that relates to your already identified main points, put it in the pertaining row. In your new sources, you will also probably find new main ideas that you need to add to your list at the left. After your chart is complete, notice patterns of information. You may find that your sources at times discuss very similar material or that they sometimes deal with completely different aspects of your topic. These patterns can be useful in creating a thesis statement that can guide your writing and keep you focused as you begin your draft. How would you recognize synthesis out of these materials? In recognizing synthesis, you may resort to unrevised paragraph, which is an early draft of the literature review. Then, eventually develop into a revised paragraph, which is an improved version of your draft. It is also more accurate in expressing important details and findings. Revising syntheses improves the coherence of your literature to the focus of your research. Improving syntheses can be done at two levels: improving syntheses at the paper level and improving syntheses at the paragraph level. In improving syntheses at the paper level, we should write down the paper's thesis or main research question, highlight the synthesizing topic sentence of each paragraph, and if necessary, reorganize and combine source material to fit with new topic sentences. In improving synthesis at the paragraph level, we should select a paragraph to work, highlight the topic sentence, and in every sentence, highlight words that link the topic sentence and source material. Here is an example from the literature review, World War II and its effect on women. This excerpt synthesizes information without summarizing. Rather than summarizing, the author draws comparisons between the two articles, giving relevant information and at the same time, synthesizing the two works. This revised and improved synthesis will be an effective presentation of the coherence of the related literature and studies to the research you are doing. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you and good day.